Okay, so here's a fun little job for Myles' car. So this is easy enough that we're not going to worry about that today. And got Myles to snip this guy off there. You can see, there we have that. This piece is very usable still. A little crusty, but certainly good enough. And we got this mess here. This is all one piece. So I thought it might be fun to try and make it out of one piece. So we talked before about patterns. So I made my usual tape pattern here, right? So I just lots of tape and then peel it off, boom, tape pattern. So let's lay this out and see what it tells us. So basically I'm going to push this flat. Wherever it wrinkles, that means I got to stretch that area when I make it out of steel, right? Oh, look at, ooh, yeah. So I'm going to lay that out on a piece of steel, and then we'll start beating on it. I'd like to make it out of one piece, we'll see. This is a pretty big stretch in this area here, and I don't want it to get so thin that it becomes useless or breaks. So if I absolutely have to, I can put a piece in here, but I just thought for chuckles, let's try and make it out of one piece. And I might, just for laughs, take the original flange and weld it back on the bottom so that it looks like nothing ever actually happened. But this is, you know, they're all like this, right? When that's made at the factory, this is all raw metal. It never gets any paint. So every car of this era, every post-war American car up till the 80s has this same problem. So you gotta have something to keep the fender square to the body, to the door. So they gotta have that brace, and the brace is always welded before it's painted. And nobody takes the fenders off their cars and sprays them full of rust proofing when they get the car, so they all eventually end up looking like this. So here we are, let's make a piece. There's our half-assed pattern. Circles there and that oval shape there are kind of where I'm going to stretch it. And so basically we need this to be longer than this similar area in here. And so that's why this is tapered in. This needs to be quite a bit longer, and this just a little bit longer here. Anyway, same thing, same here. Just stretch this. This is going to allow it to bend this way once it's stretched, right? Otherwise we could just pound all that in there, but we'd never be able to make that corner. So in the interest of making it a little easier for ourselves, it's got to stretch quite a bit. So I'll show you the first 10 seconds of the stretching, and then we're just going to just finish it up. This is the die that it doesn't come with, that I made, so it stretches the metal this way, but not making it any bigger this way. So that's pretty handy, because 90% of the time, well, not 90, a lot of the time, you really only need to make it longer in one direction. So that's what this is about. This is just one of the dies that came with the thing. And we drilled a hole in it so to keep it indexed, because otherwise it's not much good for anything. So I'll set that up and we'll try it. Okay, noisy time. Here goes nothing. Okay, you can see what we're trying to do. Whoop. I'm trying to raise those up, and you can see it's starting to happen. So I'm going to carry on rather than make us watch this, and I'm going to go until we get about a ½ an inch there, and then we'll start trying to beat some shape into it. And we're starting to get a pretty good lump at each end of that, so I'm going to take it and start roughing some of the structure into it. I don't really know much more I'm going to need, and you can see on the back, it's a little easier to see from behind actually. There we go. So I'm going to take my shape here, I'm going to draw it on the back so it's a little easier to hammer it, and then we'll just beat on it for a while, see how that goes. Keeping everything very soft here. Okay, obviously not getting very far yet, but it's, this is the process, I guess. Luckily, in this case, this piece is never going to be seen, so it doesn't have to be exactly right, but so often all these little, most of this is there for a reason. So I'm not going to try and shortcut it too much, because there will be some think will be in the way if I don't get this close. And then all this was for nothing. So we want to get it reasonably close. Easy enough to make this radius. So this side is starting to come nicely. We don't have to get 90. We do have to get 70 degrees out of it. And here we can see we got a little extra material here, so that's going to help us. Telephone. Okay, pounded on it for a couple minutes here. See, I'm starting to get close, and when we look at it this way, you can see that still points that way, so this needs a little more stretching, and a little maybe here. And again, we're not trying to make this perfect, because this is the inside of the fender and it's not really a priority, and we have only a certain number of hours for this entire project. So I'm going to go back and stretch this out on our buddy there, and a little bit there, and that'll help it naturally take that shape. So we are starting to get the shape. You can see it still doesn't curl enough here, so we have to stretch that. Definitely something I've noticed with this job is that stretching it is always a bigger job than you might think at first. You think, oh, it'll stretch easy. It doesn't actually stretch that easily, so as it turns out. So, and you can see it pulls all this out of square, so we definitely need more in here. Let me see, yeah. So more in there, and then we'll try it again, more in here. Basically more of everywhere. I had it right, I just didn't do enough yet. So, but you know, you can see it's going to eventually work out. Okay, well, there's how far we got yesterday. Had a bit of a start on that. So, goal today, and probably for this video, is I'm going to, Myles is here to help, so we're going to try to get this piece installed using this as our guide, to make sure that whatever we build here will allow the new one of these to fit properly. And so we have 1 or 2 holes here down there that'll allow this to still fit. So the goal is I'm going to try and save this flange and use this to replace the rotten part there. So I'm going to do a little more tidying up on this, and let's see if we can get that in there. Just wanted to let you guys know that poor Mini Frankers is not feeling well today, so I don't have as much time as I would have normally liked to spend on the videos. I'm really keeping a close eye on her. She's got some kind of pneumonia, so being very careful with little Frankers here, and she's on antibiotics and she's resting, and I think she's doing a little better, but it's going to be a week or 2. So anyway, just want to let everybody know, and you know, we're pulling for little Mini Frankers here. See how we're able to, by stretching all this and not touching that. This is all, this distance from here to here is a lot longer than from there to there. So that's what all this stretching is about. Just showing Myles. There's all the marks from the planishing hammer with the stretching die on it. So I'm only trying to move it this way. I don't really care if it goes that way. So that's why I have that die that's basically looks like this. And it's essentially doing this. So if it's making it thinner, well, it's got nowhere else to go except that way and that way, and that's what you want. And as it goes that way, it's either going to stick up or curl over like that. So that's what we've done. So now we can take this and kind of just straighten that guy back out a bit. Right there, without getting too fancy, right? Just good.
It looks great.
Same here, probably close enough. Yeah, so the trick is that you stretch it all first and then put all the shape in it, because if you just shape it first, you'll never, it's very hard to go back and stretch it
right,
after.
for sure.
So
to get it to
stretching
bend.
it ahead of time is the secret. And if you get that far, it's pretty easy to fine tune it like this, right? And literally just fine tuning it till it falls on top of here. And so we'll put that in there. I can see we got to shorten it up a bit, but it looks like
better long than short. So.
Yeah, for sure, right? Always. So it's not that bad. Need a little more. Could use a little more. And in this case, luckily, this is not a very. It's not a visible piece at all, right? So whatever we do that is close, that gets it in there, that's pretty close. It sits on there almost without touching. So I'm going to clean it up, take some of the hammer marks down a bit, and then we're going to trim it to match this. Fold this edge over to match that the best we can. And then we're going to get ready to tack that in there.
Fantastic.
So just for reasons of time, we're going to leave it there for today, and we're going to finish this whole fender for next week. But I'm going to go in and put this video together, but you can see that we got a pretty reasonable facsimile and maybe 2.5 hours total there. So maybe there's faster ways to do it, but not the easiest piece if you're trying to make it out of multiple pieces. So, but the secret there, stretching where it has to change direction, and of course where it has to curve a bit. So pretty reasonable for what we're trying to do. And again, this is $1 million Hemi car. You might do it nicer than that, but
it's going to be great.
And that is going to go. It's in there, pretty close, right?
Right.
There. So that's where that'll be, and we can tighten up these various little details pretty easily. So that is the plan.
Very nice.
And there we go. So next time you see this, this will be welded in.
Car will be painted.
And the whole car will be done. Yeah, it's going to be a heck of a video.
Tune in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Tune in 3 years and we'll update you.
That's a rough piece, eh?
This one's easy to make. This was the only hard one. Luckily, the hard one you don't see. So the easy one would be the one that hides all the bullshit that we just did. As a matter of fact, we can kind of check it. Got it backwards. Yes. It's like, what happened? There. So we're not going to have any trouble. We can completely hide our new piece with the original one. And then buddy there, it's going to slide in there.
Yep.
And just like that. Everybody wins. Okay?
Awesome.
Okay. Well, we'll see you guys in a little while. I'm going to go check on Mini Frankers.
Frankers has cut herself the flu, so.
Yeah, we got to take care of Frankers. That's number one. So, see everybody in a couple of days. This is a regular contributor.
Same old shit.